is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio. PHLV Radio.
Hello, good evening. How are you? This is Jush Andowitt, and it is exactly Friday night at 9 p.m. in the Pacific. And if you are watching from the Philippines, it is exactly 12 noon on a Sunday. So if you are watching us in the Philippines, maganda. It's a good Saturday, a holy Saturday today po. And then if you are watching us in the Pacific, it's Friday evening. And those people watching us in other parts of the world, magandang tanghali, magandang umaga, magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat. So yun po, ngayon po, as you could tell, I am having difficulty again with our internet connection. But today, dahil po it's in America, for those our Catholic and Christian brothers and sisters, it is Good Friday. So yun po. In observance of that, most of our shows hindi po live, pero live na live po tayo ngayon. So if you're watching this show, we're live on PHLB Radio Facebook page. We're also live on PHLB YouTube channel. So if you are not a subscriber yet, what are you waiting for? Please log in, like, share, and subscribe. And if you have Alexa equipment, you could just say, Alexa, play PHLB Radio. And if you have Amazon Fire TV, just look for PHLB TV channel or PHLB Radio channel. And those people who are listening, audio streaming po is live also on different podcasts, namely Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. A lot of people to this day are asking, especially our people who are watching us from for the first time, if you missed any of the shows of PHLB Radio, wala pong problema, no worries at all. You could always go back to our website, which is www.phlbradio.com, or you could always check us on our YouTube page ng PHLB Radio po, at meron po kaming playlist doon. So you will not miss any shows of the PHLB. Yan. So ngayon po ay Holy Saturday in the Philippines and Good Friday here in America. So again, well, in the Philippines po kasi the observance is really very important para pong it's right now, if you're in Manila, you would know that parang ano po sila. Talagang very solemn, wala pong tao sa mga different areas po ng city, ng metropolis. Ayun. Ngayon po, ang ating, so we decided instead of having a guest, we're gonna show to you yung ginawa kong visit sa isang aqua farm. It's a Bangus Aqua Farm located in Pangasinan. This is the aqua farm po na nagsusupply ng mga bangus, which is the Filipino national fish. So bangus or milk fish. This particular show today would show my visit to Diaz Bangus Aqua Farm located in Pangasinan. This happened like a couple of weeks ago, and we will show you from the moment they raised it to the harvest and to the preparation for export. So yung mga, especially the Filipinos buying it from different Asian stores like Seafood City, Island Pacific, Tambuni Market, and other 99 Ranch. Most of these bangos, the milk fish po, are coming from this particular company, and they go with the brand the Gupan. So what people are saying in the Philippines, or if you're Filipinos, you would know that the best bangus that is for sale, or the best bangus in the world, is coming from Pangasinan. And I'll tell you exactly why. Because these bangus are not are raised in an ocean. Hindi po siya yung parang naka-cage, pero may barrier lang po. There's only a barrier, but technically the water they're using are ocean water. So that, I think, in my opinion, and according to some interviews that we did, that's the reason why the bangus of Pangasinan is a lot better, or even much better compared to the other bangus that's for sale, especially other bangus or milkfish coming from other countries other than the Philippines. With that being said, I think it's high time that we will show you, and I'll do the voiceover on some of the parts po ng aming video to show you and to kind of inform you what's going on with the video. We intentionally, some of the videos, we kind of muted the sound to make sure that I will be doing the voiceover, because I was there. The camera person filmed it, so medyo kasi it was the first part of the visit was windy, and that was a couple of months ago. And then from that part one, we will move on to the harvest. And the harvest it's quite a sight to see, simply because makita nyo po yung the bangus being harvested from that particular farm, at nagtatalunan pa sila. It's jumping, sabi nga nung tao doon, jumping for joy. But and then how it is put in a bag and then transported into a boat. Makita nyo how fresh they are. And then from that, it will be transported to a processing plant also in Pangasinan, and that's where they will separate based on sizes and weight. And then from that, it's being prepared, it's being deboned and packaged and be ready for shipment. So yun po makikita nyo sa ating show today. So to support the Filipino businesses and to show that we are, as a nation, we are really a talented nation with not only singers, actors, models, beauty queens, but also as a business enterprises, we are world class. So without much further ado, this is my visit, alam mo ba, with Jush Andowitt's visit to Diaz Bangus Aqua Farm. And here are the videos. Sure. What you're seeing right now is we were picked up from the clubhouse of a resort, and then this is our first trip. We have to take a bangka there, and then it shows now that you are going into the ocean, Pacific Ocean, and then on the way there, nakikita nyo po may mga fence dyan, and this is where they raise the talaba or the mussels. Yung pong mga makikita nyo po right now, these are yung mga fence po with nets. They are basically the one that when they have they call it fingerings. Oh, those are the parang bangus, the little bangus that are about to be grown or to be thrown into the ocean or to the farm. So they are put in a cage para po hindi sila makain. And then now you could see also how they repair the boat. Like this man, the boatman here, is repairing po yung kanilang bangka, and they're putting all this not paint but parang masilya to make sure that the water would not go into that when they are feeding the bangus. And this is that portion where what's being shown right now is how the bangus are being fed. Yan, so yan po. Close up namin ng konti as we go on. Yan, ito po, you could tell that's Josephine. Josephine is one of the person in charge of this particular Diaz Bangus farm, and now she's showing to us how she's feeding it. If you could hear this sound, parang binabangko niya yung bamboo, yung kawayan, to let the bangus know that it's feeding time. And the feeds, compared to other farm, yung feeds po na ginagawa nila, it's organic. Unlike, I know we have heard stories, horrible stories, that what they're feeding are manures. In this particular farm, no po, these are pellets that are organic, and they are pretty, they are really bangus feeds, and it's organic, and it's not manure or anything. It's really what makes this bangus bigger and fresher and sweeter. That's what the locals are saying. Yun po, nakita nyo, nagtatalunan ang mga bangus because they're trying to partake the food that was being released from them, and tinatapon po ni Josephine, tinutro niya yung mga pellets, and for the bangus or the milkfish to partake and to enjoy. And yung nakikita nyo po, what you see right now is the farm itself, and this is only one portion of that farm. Sabi nga sa akin, the Diaz Bangus Aqua Farm, whatever you see hanggang naabot ng site mo, yun po ang kanilang pag-aari. So what happened is, think about it, imagine if you have like a box and you divide it into so many sections. Ganun po how they do it. But the water is ocean water. Naka-barrier lang po siya sa para hindi nakakalabas po yung mga bangus. Yan, so let's continue. So ayan, makikita nyo po yung bangus ay nagkakagulo. Yan, pinapakita. That's the feed. See? It's not manure. It's like pellets.
And is it made where?
Yeah, and we're trying to... Yan, yun po yung mga bangos. Kita nyo po, gulong-gulo sila because it's lunchtime for them.
And but what, ano yung component? Ano yung ginagawa? Talaga?
Yeah po, what you're seeing right now is the barrier. Yung parang, ayan, kita nyo po. Oh, yan.
Ano bang pangalan nung
Those are the bangos, and there's so many of them. I would say a couple of thousands of them, and it comes in different sizes.
again, itong nasa 10 is beef. Ay, wala. Tapos, kailan sila pupunta?
Happy viewing. Oh, Adelio Cruz is watching. He's the former Consul General of Los Angeles, and he said greetings from Quezon City. Hello, Conjen, Adele. Yeah, these are the you are seeing right now. The camera person took a picture. Na ano po siya, parang it's a talahib, and it's they call it pilapil or fields, but they are different areas of the bangus depending on the size and depending on the months that they were thrown into the ocean. Hello also to Juliet Marcos. Hi po, Ninong. Happy viewing to everybody. Okay, ayan, that's how big this farm is. Yan po, so it's really quite a trip to go and to go around the area. And then as you could see, there's a house there that's the rest out of the Diaz's family. It's in the middle of the ocean. Yeah, so, and that's Josephine, and she's explaining to us how these are, and these are the people that who are responsible and taking care of the farm. And then obviously it's almost, we started early morning and now it's kind of dawn, and then nabalik na po kami sa clubhouse and then they're speeding away. Yan. Yan po. Yan. So parang they're going back because the Diaz, Mariver Diaz gave them houses as a token of her appreciation, or the family's appreciation to the workers. You see, and that's po how the bangus or the milkfish are being fed, and then also how they're being raised. And that's part 1 po. Ito naman po yung part 2 namin, and this is the harvest na po. If you could tell, we're going back to the ocean, and it's a different part na po, or a different month na po ito, simply because they normally, according to them, they harvest the bangus from fingerlings to the bangus size that is commercially available. What they do is it takes at least 5 to 6 months. Naka-table na po yun. Just like anything else, it's calendared, because if the bangus would be big, well, it would be longer than the 5 to 6 months. Masyado na po siyang matinik, at yung tinik niya masyado na po siyang just like chickens, medyo makunat na raw po. Hindi na siya as soft and as tender ng bangus that we've seen or we've been getting in the market. Because remember, yung myth po natin, the bigger the size, the better it is. Not according to the expert of this bangus farm. What they're saying is there's an exact measurement lang po talaga ng bangus to know exactly if it's going bigger. Let's say, di ba, we always thought that bigger is the best, but not when it comes to bangus. Yan po. So you could tell we're going again towards the ocean. Because I mean, if you could imagine in the ocean while you pass, and there's several mangroves, you could tell that there are barriers, or may mga parang territorials na you could see. This bamboo or kawayan, they're being put there as a mark, or as a landmark for the owners to know which area of the ocean they own. At the same time, because it's an ocean, and it's kind of secured because of the fences that they did to know which farm belongs to whom. Dun po nare-raise naman yung mga mussels or oysters. Dito po yung mga talaba, and they're really fresh compare what we have purchased in different cities or different groceries in different cities in the US. Ninita Marcos is watching, Gina Marcos is watching as well. Hello everybody, and happy viewing sa inyo, and to all our viewers and our listeners. Yan po, what you're seeing right now is we're passing through several of the farm or the fences going or leading to the Diaz Bangus Aqua Farm. So we're going in there, okay, and as just imagine we are on a boat going to that. Kumbaga in Filipino po, we're traveling o binabaybay namin itong ocean, itong part na ito po, whereby we're seeing different of that, and it's so clean, and it's so it's not milky, but it's kind of grayish, but you could tell and you could see a part bottom of the ocean as you pass, because this happens to be low tide when we travel. Yeah, you could see a lot of this bamboo or kawayan, and the nets. It's to protect the fingerlings, the bangus fingerlings. So while they're being nurtured or cultured into a size before they are released to the bigger farm. Yan po. Yan, see? And they're beautiful. This is something you guys need to see for yourself. And when you have a chance, do a day tour of the bangus farms in Pangasinan. It's highly recommended, because especially for Filipinos abroad, this is really one sight to see. And imagine that we always know that we could buy bangus in different Asian market, but we don't really know how they're being raised and how they are being harvested, and it's it's indescribable. The feeling is so priceless. And you could see in the video, we're passing through different mangroves. My question to the owner was there, because it's a mangrove, baka mamaya may mga crocodile dyan or alligator. They said not this particular area because they're well preserved and they're well guarded. Yes, sabi ni Feli. Hi Feli from Seattle. Sabi ni Feli, hi Kuya Josh. Ang laki ng farm. Yes, super laki ang farm niya. And that's Josephine right there.
Right
and
now
Josephine was giving me the tour.
Pangasinan, and as you could tell, based on the video earlier, you saw all the fish ponds as well as the fish nets. And this is really how they raise the famous Dagupan Bangus, or the famous Pangasinan Bangus. It's really famous and it's world class. And we're visiting the Mariver Diaz's fish ponds and fisheries, and we're gonna look and have some bangus, the national fish of the Philippines. And beside me is Josephine. She's in charge of the fish pens and fish ponds.
Okay. Okay, now you have seen that portion wherein Josephine showed us how they're being fed, how they're being raised, and you saw the bigness and the vastness of the farm itself. Now we're going to our part 2, and our part 2 would show you how they're being harvested. Paano po hinuhuli itong mga bangus? Ayan, pinapakita na naman. We're showing and this one, if you could see, there's men already there. These men are the one. Madaling araw, we're here at 4 a.m. in the morning to make sure that we capture that for you, our dear audience, ang ating viewers and our listeners. Sana po makita nyo. Ayan po, naka-line up. Do you know that the net was being thrown through the whole farm? Ganun po siya kalaki. So yung net po, kinakast yan. Inilalagay from one corner to the other. Tapos imagine na parang pag doon from the corner, hihilahin nila. They're gonna pull it as if parang ini-strain yung buong farm. So if you could see right now, there's men pulling all those net from one very end right there. Hinihila po yun, parang sinasala using the fish net. Ang ganda talaga niya panoorin. O sabi ni Feli, how much does it cost to do the tour? Kuya, if ever andyan ako sa Pangasinan, just let me know and hook you up. And well, I was lucky because the owner is a friend of mine, so I could hook you up. And normally they do it every 6 months. So this one is March. Oh, see, yung when the bangus are already strained, you could tell aside that they're jumping. So na-capture po, makikita nyo, the bangus are being captured, nakanet na po siya, kumbaga nahila na siya, so you could tell. And of course, ang kalaban po nila are the birds, because the birds will dive in to the ocean and try to get as much bangus as possible para for their own feed. Okay, now you could tell the bangus, you could tell right there on your right hand screen, they're jumping because they are captured, and that's only one portion of that farm. So there's so many times that they have to go back and strain the farm itself to make sure they captured all the bangus that were raised in that particular area. So you could tell now that there's like a tunnel kind of fence wherein dun po nililikom, where all the bangus that were strained from that farm are being put temporarily. And my question is, bakit ang daming bangus? There's so many milkfish in that particular area. And I was told that is a style or a strategy, because once they are put together, the oxygen is slower, and so the bangus are not as active anymore. They cannot jump anymore simply because they're grasping for oxygen. So that's why they are being placed in that. If you look at the very right-hand side corner of your screen, you could tell the bangus are trying to, at that very corner, trying to get as much air. At the same time, of course, they're panicking because they know, well, of course, they were already captured, they were already harvested. So now the men, the fishermen, or the people in that farm, see, you could tell all these bangus are all grouping together. Parang talagang they and the whole area of that, the whole tunnel, there are filled of bangus. Okay, some are trying to escape, but of course that's not going to happen because there's this net around it. Okay, so yan, ito po yung another side of the area, and the other portion. See how these men are pinupull po nila yung net because they're making the area smaller by pulling the net up. Yan, you could see the thousands and thousands of bangus in different sizes. Also, on top of that, because it's a farm, we were able to see some tilapia and some other fishes that are not bangus, and there's other crabs that were captured as well, or alimango po, and that was part of that farm. So now, do you see that bag? We call it rice sack, or it's a plastic bag where they normally put rice, sako in Tagalog. So now what they're doing is they're putting all the bangus inside per sack, and this is how they're being transported from that fish pond now to the cannery or to that processing center. You could tell. So right now they're strategizing on how they're gonna put all of these bangus, and these are bags and bags and bags of bangus. Yan po. So what they do is they net them and they put them. See that guy in green? Hawak na po niya yung bag of bangus. What's inside that bag are the live bangus. Live na live po, tumatalon-talon pa. Ayan. They're jumping, they're trying to escape, they're trying to get away because they know they're already captured as it is. So now this is what they call bayanihan. So they're all lined up. All these men are lined up together, and they're passing one sack after the other, going into that boat. And you see that boat. That boat, you could tell. See, they're passing those bags from one end to the other. Yan po, you could tell. Yeah, they're waiting because they're trying to get as many bangus as possible into that net. And from that net to the boat. Yung boat naman po, they were prepared with so much ice on them. And that was really surprising because I was thinking, baka ano siya, cooler or anything. No, yung boat po, it was lined with ice, black of ice, yellow po, and then you will just dump all this fly bangus. So humihinga pa, nag-jump pa yung mga bangus, and that's how, no wonder these bangus are so fresh. Yan po, you could tell. So there's men everywhere where they're putting ice on top of yan, itatapon po nila o ilalagay nila yung mga bangus po. So all the bangus are still alive. Yeah, you could tell. See, bags and bags of bangus are being transported and being put into that boat. Ang laki po ng boat niya because that's how they want to preserve the freshness of the bangus. Yan po. Now you could tell. See? Bags and bags of those are being lined up. And you could see later we will have a close-up of this bangus. Medyo nawala sa ano yung ating film. Okay, there. Yan, so naka-line up po sila. You could tell they're all lined up. Yan. Yan, pinapasok po from one end to the other. Yan po, dahan-dahan nila. Again, so not to kill the bangus because once they get into the processing center, they need to make sure they're still very fresh. Wala pong sira yung kanilang mga skin because it's what, so they could price it better, they could tag it better, they could pack it better because kung hindi kailangan masira yung mismong body of the milkfish. And the way they preserve it, according to this gentleman, is they put ice all over that boat and they put in the live bangus. Ayan, kita nyo, you could see the bangus are still jumping. So fresh na fresh po yan. And then they're gonna be frozen, freshly frozen. So that's why now it makes sense why when we buy those bangus, airtight freshness po sila. And that's how it is. Now, let's go to this. Now, this is the mini interview I had with Dr. Mariver Diaz, who owns the Diaz Bangus Aqua Farm.
Farm here in Pangasinan.
That's here.
And we are blessed to have the owner of the place. And we just witnessed, and of course you just saw it, that we saw how things are done when it comes to bangus farm and bangus harvesting. And now you're gonna see on the next portion of the show, we will show you how it's prepared. Because now not only you could see it in different supermarket, but at least you're seeing it as it is, as it happens. So let's ask the owner, Dr. Mariver Diaz, on how this is all about. How long have you been doing this?
I was single.
And that was?
1980 in the 80s.
And you inherited this from your father, right?
I guess. Not inherited, but hardly.
Okay. So we'll go on the next portion. So we'll see how this bangus that we just harvested, and then you'll see how it's being prepared. And now we'll see you in the next part.
Okay, now Mariver Diaz, as I think we guessed her before, she's a doctor by profession. She's a chemist at the same time. She's a well-known dermatologist in Los Angeles. She has 3 clinics, one in Los Angeles or in West Covina, the other one is in Tarzana, and she has another clinic at Concord up in Northern California. And her clinic, in which we already guested her on our show, it's Derm Skin. So aside from that, little we know that we call her, we jokingly addressed her to be the bangus queen of Pangasinan because it seems like all the farms there are either connected to her, owned by her, or related to her because she happens to be the niece of Jose de Venecia, the former Speaker of the House. And Joe de Venecia. They are really from Pangasinan, born and raised. And she was kind enough to give us a tour on how this bangus business came about and how the challenges that's being done to raise them, and then why their bangus are kind of different from the other bangus or milkfish that's being sold in the market, especially for us Filipinos abroad. Okay, let's go. Now, from that, you saw the boat, diba? Then from that boat, with all it will be transported to the processing plant. Now, the next part we'll show you is how they're being processed, the bone. Ayan, makita nyo, they're very, very strict when it comes to protocol. We were asked, sabi ko, I was joking, you have to put a net on your hair, gloves, and you have a different kind of shoes, and it's really very sanitized, simply because they want to preserve the cleanliness and make sure there's no contamination. There's alcohol everywhere, and you have, as if like I was joking. It seems like we're going to surgery because we're all dressed up with all these PPEs, and because they want to make sure that all these bangus are done right and they are preserved. So here we are, and this is the first step. Really, it's like we're being asked to wash our hands with this antibacterial soap, and then they put nets on our hair. We were given hospital gowns or like a doctor's gown, and then on our shoes we were asked to wear specialized shoes, white rubber shoes, but that's not your own. And then after you thoroughly wash your hands, you go to that little machine where it disinfects any residual from your hand. Yes, Sherwin Marcos, hello. You're watching from Poland. How are you, Sherwin? And then Feli Alpian said, good manufacturing practices, very clean facility, Kuya. Indeed, Feli, it was really, really, really clean and very sanitized, as if you're going to a hospital. No excuses, whether you own the Bangus farm or you are an owner or you're a businessman or whether you're wealthy or senator, everybody was asked to do that, this particular practice, because you cannot go in to the inside of this facility especially if you're going into the processing area without going through this process, this cleanliness, sanitizing or sanitation process. Okay, once you're done, then you are led into the room. That room, though, to your right, would show you the different bangus. We were not allowed to take pictures or video inside simply because of they're too afraid of contamination with the camera that we're using. So, but what you missed there would be the target from the smallest. So as we enter that, the bangus, and then of course, as how fresh they are, new bangus are simply because when they were okay, and now we're showing you the facility itself on how they are being prepared. Okay, these are staff from the facility, and then what they're doing right now is they're separating all the bangus based on sizes. So if they're doing the smaller size, all those bangus that's on the table, they're all the same size. So they're doing size by size. So for example, day 1 it will be the small size, day 2 will be the medium size, day 3 will be the big size, and you could tell they are not allowed to speak. Okay, it's because they're because of the fear of contamination, because of the saliva, and they're all wearing masks. And this mask was being practiced, or mask wearing is being practiced way before this pandemic. So these people who are doing that, or the factory people, or the warehouse people, they're very used to wearing masks. Okay, even before the pandemic. So they're being separated. This one, if you could see it, they're being deboned, and these are experts. Okay, I asked them, is it by number of bangus that they're being paid? No, they're being paid by the hour. And I said, why is that? Because in the past, they are being paid based on the number of deboned bangus they did for that day. But they noticed, napansin po nila, when it's paramihan ng bangus na nagawa, that quality has suffered kasi paramihan. So because if you're being paid by piece of the deboned bangus that you did, so the tendency is you're missing some of the bones and the quality really gone down. So what they did this time, instead of per bangus, they just pay you by the hour. Okay, so regardless of how many bangus you have done, these particular people are expert on that field. It is amazing. It's automated, and they're just too fast. They're deboning them, they're cleaning them, and then it's just one amazing thing to see. So I suggest again that when you have a chance to go to Pangasinan, take this tour. So at least you will be not educated, but you would know how the bangus that we so love, the Philippine national fish, is being prepared for export. Hello to Gingerberry Purple from Reno. Hi, how are you? Happy viewing for you. Yeah, see, and they're really fast. Ayan, they're cutting the bangus, they're removing the tails, some of the tails, they're removing the fins, and then they're cleaning all the guts inside. And they're not, again, allowed to talk. No talking in that room. So it's silence. It's really silence that they observe. Very quiet. See how fast they're deboning, they're cleaning these bangus. It's like a machine that's doing that. Yeah, see? They remove all the gut, all the thing inside, and they're putting into that little container, and those will be disposed later in the day. See how they look? They are wearing boots, white boots, and they're wearing surgical gown, and then with a mask, and of course a hairnet, and then it's as if they're going to surgery. Here they are. So, and then once they debone, they clean and all that, and they cut all the fins and some part of the tail, then they put that into that yellow container. That then, the yellow container now will be then processed or will be sent to the packaging area. Now, there are different kinds of packaging that they do. One is the one that's already mixed, meaning already spiced up. Parang daing na siya. They're already marinated, and they're already they're freeze dried or sealed, so they'll be ready for export. Okay, but that would be according to sizes. So there'll be some size that are just basic, meaning no preservative, no spice, nothing. It's not like daing yet, but it's just like for frying. All of these bangus, just for clarification, they don't go to any preservation or any chemicals that's put in them to preserve their freshness. Because again, like what I said earlier, they are freeze sealed to make sure that the freshness is still intact. Yeah. So they do this 8 hours a day. These people, they don't go in rotation. They do it 8 hours a day. So there you go. You could see different angles. And this is like a huge warehouse, and there's some offices on one side, but this is they call it the Bangus Laboratory. Yeah, imagine how quiet. It's like monk or nuns praying, and all you could just hear the sound of them cleaning the bangus, but no talking, no music. Yeah, see? And look at the guy, how fast he is deboning this bangus. This is for your daing na bangus, boneless. When we got there, this is exactly what we saw. And this particular day, that is deboning for export and also for daing, or for marinating this bangus, and then they're being sealed, freshly sealed. And of course, there's a supervisor, and this is the whole room of these people, and they're really fast and they're really trained to do this. That's why you could tell they're like machine doing this. And this is all the bangus harvested earlier in the day from Diaz Bangus Aqua Farm. So imagine, once they're captured, once they're harvested that day, they automatically go into the processing area. Then of course they're being separated based on size, and then from that, and then they're gonna be sealed and ready for shipment. And then once they're ready for shipment, they would be transported to the pier or to the port, the seaport, for its travel to the US or to any countries that they have as a client. Sammy Francisco is watching. Hi, Sammy. And then, sabi ni Feli Alfian, they have to concentrate to what they're doing or else they will miss some of the bones of the fish. Super bilis nila sa kanilang ginagawa. So true. Para nga silang mga robots, no? Sabi ko nga, I wonder if there will be a time na marireplace sila because it will be automated. But based on what I saw and what I have seen, I don't think that would be possible kasi yung yung layout ng mga bangus, it's not like typical like chicken, you know where they are. This one, talagang they're all over. Of course, there's yung parang scale, but hindi sila talaga, kailangan talaga, kumbaga, you could be really very keen in removing all these bones. Okay? Now, si Feli, I can relate to what they wear, Kuya. I used to work for a Japanese company and we have to follow the GMPs. Yes, totoo yan, Feli. It's ang galing nga kasi nga parang, well, for me, it was a new experience. Again, kudos to Diaz Bangus Aqua Farm for allowing me to be able to see it, so I could share it with all our viewers, and our listeners can also listen to what we're describing. But of course, our dear listeners, when you have a chance anytime, feel free to watch this video because it is really a different experience. You'll be so proud of what we have accomplished, especially Diaz Bangus Aqua Farm, and how they preserve, how they raise their bangus, their product, and to maintain the high standard, world-class quality that first, it's being mandated, and secondly, it is required for people to be able to partake and to assure cleanliness, freshness, and that once you take this bangus from the marketplace, and then your family will enjoy its freshness. Yun po ang ating bangus tour, and I know it's too much to absorb, but again, if you have a chance and you will be that part of Pangasinan, aside from visiting Bolinao, aside from doing your 100 Island tour, I would suggest that it's highly recommended that you guys, when possible, do the Bangus Aqua Farm tour. It's all over the place, and the tour itself will kind of enlighten you how tedious and how meticulous raising bangus to make sure they are readily available for us Filipinos to be able to consume it, and to make sure that what we consume, especially for those people abroad, are really authentic bangus. They're farmed properly. Safety protocol are being observed not only from the farm, but most especially from the processing center, as well as now we could kind of break the myth that what they're being fed, the bangus, are not manure of chicken manure, but they are pellets, organic pellets that are with different vitamins, as well as they're shaped into little pellets that being thrown in to the different parts of the farm. And then once within the 5 to 6 months, they will be harvested. And you saw how this man would put the net across or on top. It's just like, are you guys familiar? Like if you have a swimming pool, you kind of cover it. That's how they do it. They cover the whole farm, that portion of that farm where they're gonna do the harvest. They'll cover that with the fishing net, and then from there, it's like the net will be the strainer. Ini-strain, dini-drain yung mismong pagkuha ng bangos. So they're being captured to that net, and they're being put aside. So that's why it's like a dance of these men trying to slowly move the net from one area or one corner of the farm to the other herd or harvested would be put into that little netted area where they will be put into bags right there. Yeah, see how beautiful they are, and then of course they're jumping and they're trying not to be put into that bag, and then once they are bagged up, they will be now put into that boat filled with ice. And you saw earlier that the bangus are still jumping even though they're already on the boat on top or over the ice. And these ice are not crushed. They're blocks and blocks of ice. For us, when we do fishing as a whole, we normally crush the ice. This particular one, they don't crush the ice. They're blocks and blocks and blocks of ice that they put the bangus on top. See, and this man, they do this every so often. They're expert also as well in putting this bangus together. Yeah, see, this is a closer look of how they're being bagged for transport to the boat of ice. See, you can tell, guys, kakaibang feeling po to see this bangus jumping. Yeah, see, there's so much bangus for that particular area. See, these men are just lined up trying to get these bags of bangus into that boat. See how far this particular area is from where they're being bagged up. See, this is what we're telling you earlier. I was telling you earlier. See, those are buckets, blocks of ice. See, and that's how they're lined up to make sure that the bangus, the freshness of the bangus are preserved. See, now they're just waiting for the ice to be properly placed, and are still moving because of course the bangus inside are still alive. So they're just waiting for the foreman to give them go signal to start dumping the bangus inside. See there, the mining block is the one responsible to empty the bags of bangus into the boat of ice. See there? And they do this very quickly, very fast, and it's like a dance. See, it's a step 1, 2, 3 that they are so used to and so accustomed. So I hope you saw how this tour came about. And again, we're so blessed and we're so appreciative of Mariver Diaz for allowing us to shoot and to be part of that experience, from the raising, the feeding, to the harvest, and to the processing of their bangus product being exported to different parts of the United States. And again, maraming salamat kay Dr. Mariver Diaz for allowing and opening the Diaz Bangus Aqua Farm. Not a lot of farms are willing to show how they do their bangus raising, but the Diaz Bangus Aqua Farm is one of those special ones who are not afraid to open their farm, so people like us can understand, can see how and learn how these bangus are done from the farm to our kitchen, from the farm to the processing area, to the supermarkets, different Asian supermarkets, to our kitchen. I hope you enjoy our little tour. Again, it's sana po na may napulutan kayo at nakita nyo po how clean they are, and that it broke the myth about bangus being fed with chicken manure. It's not true. But according to some people, there might be some people or farms that they still do that, but definitely not the Diaz Bangus. And then you saw also how they're being prepared for export, and hopefully by this show of ours, you are able to understand the intricacy of the business of this milkfish business. So for those people watching us in America or different parts of the world, I hope you have fun watching this segment of ours, this particular show. I hope that you learn from what we've shown you, or from the videos and from the narrative that shared with you. And if you missed any part of the show, feel free to go back using our website, www.phlbradio.com, or you can always check our our YouTube channel of phlbradio.com, so you would not miss any of the shows. Also, for those people naman po in the Philippines, happy Easter po tomorrow. Those people in America, be safe, and let's remember it's Good Friday. And for our Catholic and Christian brothers and sisters, we understand the solemnity of this day. So we ask that we remember the good things and the things that we need to put in our minds, the blessings that we have received because of the Creator Jesus dying for us. And it is so timely, and it is within the passage of John 3:16 that He so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. So And that, I think, in my own way, it captures the whole essence of Christ dying for us, is to free us from sin and to save us from nation. And He offers. So ay nakikiisa po kami sa buong Christian at Catholic world sa okasyon na ito. Now, we're not gonna make this show longer than usual, but we're gonna end it, say and advise again, advise people to be kind. You can never go wrong with kindness, and any act of kindness that you do to people, I guarantee it will come back to you in so many ways. And with that, happy Easter, everyone. Be safe and enjoy the rest of the evening, the rest of the day, and enjoy next.
This is your Filipino radio experience in Las Vegas. PHLV Radio.